No one saw this coming, as the Pittsburgh Penguins have made more surprising moves ahead of the season ending, and this has major implications moving forward on what the team is planning to do with some of the player personnel. We're going to break it all down in this episode of Penguins Digest, because the move is quite surprising for Pittsburgh Penguins fans and does give some insight. This update does give some insight into what the Penguins are planning to do in the future. So we're going to hit all of that in this episode of Penguins Digest. But before we do that, a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. About 68% of you who watch these videos are not subscribed to the channel. So if you want to stay up to date with everything that's happening with the Pittsburgh Penguins, heading into a very busy offseason with the draft coming up, with free agency coming up, what is Kyle Dubas planning to do with this team? We're going to keep you covered here on Penguins Digest for everything to do with the team. But to dive into the newest and latest news that came out today, very interesting move here from the Pittsburgh Penguins today, and that is Joona Koppanen, who we had a video about last week, being called up to the NHL to play a couple games, has been sent back down to the AHL, or not yet, actually. He's been put through waivers, so he could be claimed still in the next 24 hours, although I think that is quite unlikely, and he will be joining the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins, and a very good Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins team who's looking to make a deep run in the playoffs this year. And Rickard Rakell actually spoke out on that as well and said that he's hoping to join the team at some point in the playoff run, and they're hoping to win their first ever Calder Cup. So that should be very exciting to keep tabs on in terms of, the development of some of the other players. But again, according to Puckpedia, Joona Koppanen has been sent through waivers. He's been put on waivers, and he will be most likely heading back to Wilkes-Barre Scranton to help them with the playoff run. And hopefully, again, it is a good one, and it is a long one. But we have a ton of other updates to get to today as well, and one of them is, unfortunately, last week, Ray Shero did pass away. And we know everything about Ray Shero and his legacy with this Pittsburgh Penguins team, him and Sidney Crosby. Again, it goes almost without saying at this point. All Pittsburgh Penguins fans, the ceremony that they had before the game on the weekend was absolutely incredible. So I just wanted to talk about that for a second. And, his legacy goes far beyond championships. He will be remembered most for how he treated people with respect, belief, and support. So just wanted to mention that in the video, because this weekend, again, what they did before the game for him was absolutely incredible at the arena. And again, he was a huge part of the Pittsburgh Penguins' success in the last 25 years. So just wanted to mention that as well. And I think, again, it goes kind of without saying. All Pittsburgh Penguins fans can kind of, speak to that as well. And let me know in the comments what, Ray Shero, meant to you, and obviously the Penguins' success, because it is a lot, that is for sure. But to move on a little bit, never easy to move off of those things, but there is an interesting race right now in the Eastern Conference standings. And no, I am not talking about the Columbus Blue Jackets and the Montreal Canadiens. That is not what I'm talking about, although that is very tight as well. It is the race for the bottom of the division and the standings and the conference, which the Boston Bruins and the Pittsburgh Penguins did play yesterday afternoon. And the Pittsburgh Penguins did not win. The Boston Bruins did come out with 2 points there. Now they're up at 75 at the bottom of the conference, with Philly just ahead, Buffalo 2 points ahead, and of course your Pittsburgh Penguins at 78. Now, there is only one game left for the Penguins on Thursday against the Washington Capitals, and the Boston Bruins only have one game left, so I don't think the Pittsburgh Penguins they're not going to fall behind the Boston Bruins, but there was a little bit of a race there for the bottom for better positioning for the draft lottery. I don't think the Pittsburgh Penguins are going to get that position, but again, you could win the lottery and end up, or a better position, I should say. The Penguins could end up winning the lottery and end up in a pretty good position. So we'll keep very close eye on the standings to end the season, and obviously the draft lottery, which should be coming up soon within the month anyway. And one thing I wanted to mention about, the playoff picture and all of that, this is the first time in history that, well, at least with these teams being in the league, which two of them are original six, and of course the Penguins coming in the original expansion in 1967. But the Rangers, Penguins, and Bruins have all failed to qualify for the playoffs for the first time in NHL history. All three of them in the same season. Pretty crazy that it took this long for that to happen. Some success for sure for all three of these teams, but not this season. Not great. But some things to keep an eye on as the season wraps up here, because there are a couple milestones still that could be had before the season wraps up to keep an eye on. And by my account, this is from Kelsey again, who's been doing some fantastic work with the team. And these are the biggest things left on the checklist for the Penguins by season's end. Now, keep in mind, there is one game, count them, one game left this season against the Washington Capitals on Thursday. So Rust could hit 30 goals on the season. He needs one goal in that game on Thursday. Crosby could hit 90 points, where in a season, again, I don't understand why people continue to doubt Sidney Crosby. Absolutely electric again this season, and he's at 89 points. He needs 1 point to hit 90. I think he's going to do it on Thursday. You know he wants it. Kuvanen also needs to score his first NHL goal. Hasn't done that yet. Definitely has his first NHL point, but needs that ever elusive first NHL goal, and a couple others as well. Ponomarov needs his first goal with the Pens as well. He could possibly get that on Thursday. And Grzelcyk needs 2 points to hit 40 points on the season. And honestly, 40 points on the season, not bad for Matt Grzelcyk coming over to the Pittsburgh Penguins. Again, not a season to remember by any regard, but a couple milestones here that the Penguins could hit on Thursday against the Washington Capitals. So should be fun to keep an eye on that as we head towards the season end. And one other thing that wasn't mentioned, Rickard Rakell has had a very good season for the Pittsburgh Penguins. And not only has Rickard Rakell set a new career high in goals with 35, a career season, a new high for him, he also tied his previous career high in points with 69, nice, set with the Anaheim Ducks in the 2017-18 season. So it's been a while for him, and what a season it has been for him, especially after many had written him off after a down year. He didn't have a great year last year. He had a fantastic year this year. It didn't translate into success for the Penguins, but moving forward, you know, this is a guy we were talking about trading at the trade deadline. He was a hot topic of conversation. Didn't end up getting moved. Kyle Dubas wanted and elected to keep him, and he had a really good season. And heading into the future, you know, this is a guy that, you know, with a lot of young pieces coming up, can be another leadership piece for this team, like a Sidney Crosby, like a Malkin, right? And not only a leadership piece, but a guy who's not necessarily that old and putting in some good work. In fact, some of his best work in the NHL. And again, he's playing, you know, probably more minutes with the Pittsburgh Penguins than he has before in his career, but he put together a very good season. So I'm excited to see what he can do heading into the future. And of course, these are the lines to close out the season. Kuvanen up there playing with Sidney Crosby, with of course the injury to Rucker McGroarty, who was in that spot. You got Rust on the right wing there, and then Rakell, Malkin, and Heinen, and a couple guys, of course, younger guys and rookies. This is a little outdated. This was this morning. Koppanen, of course, is being put through waivers, so not sure he'll be there on the left wing on the fourth line. But Tomasino is back. Nice to see him. He should be playing in the season finale as well. So, and again, this is your defensive pairings to end the year. Tristan Jarry and net, of course. So should be pretty fun to see the season wrap up here and what they can do in the final game. If a couple guys can hit some milestones, of course, that is the injury list and who's out right now with injury. There's no real update on Joseph as well. He was skating. He was back skating just a couple days ago, but other than that, no update. So I don't think he's going to finish the season with the Pittsburgh Penguins at this point, and they finished the season with quite a few injuries. So, yeah, again, not the greatest season for the Pittsburgh Penguins, but lots to like in terms of some of the milestones a lot of the guys can hit on Thursday, and keeping an eye on Wilkes-Barre Scranton because they are going for their first Calder Cup. So let me know in the comments what you think about all the transactions and obviously some of the milestones some of the guys can hit heading into Thursday's game. And if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with everything Pittsburgh Penguins.